Demand and supply. The marketplace is a place where the buyers and the sellers physically come together for the purpose of exchange of the commodities. It can be online or offline. The market building blocks. There are two types of market building blocks: demand and the supply. Demand, it is the quantity of the goods or services that buyers wish to purchase at each possible price. Other factors remain unchanged in this factor. And the supply is the quantity of the good or services that sellers are willing to wish at each possible price. What is a ceteris paribus? Ceteris paribus, it is basically a Latin word which means all other things being equal. It is just a assumption in the economic thinking and the law. It is the indication that effect of one economic variable such as price on the other, and the quantity demanded means the amount purchased at a particular price, and the quantity supplied means the amount supplied at a particular price. What is the demand law? Demand law basically is the inversely proportional to the price. As the price increases, the demand of the product goes to decreases, and if the demand increases, then the price goes to the decreases. Next one is the market equilibrium. Market equilibrium is a situation in which demand and supply becomes equal in the market. And what is the excess supply? Basically, excess supply, the slab which is above the equilibrium, and the excess demand means below the equilibrium. Price is directly proportional to the supply and inversely proportional to the demand. As price goes down, the demand goes up and the supply goes down. And next one is the demand and the supply curve. It is the graphical representation between the price and the quantity. On the x-axis we show the quantity, and on y-axis we show the prices. The in the demand curve it shows by the blue one, and it is always negative in slope, and it shows that the buyer wants to purchase more when the price is less. Whereas in the supply it is positive slope, and it denotes with the red color, and it shows the supplier wants to sell more when the price goes high. Next one is the known price influences on the demand. The first one is the prices of the related goods. This is the two types: substitute goods and the complementary goods. Substitute goods means when a price reduction for a related product reduces the demand for a primary product. It is a substitute for the primary product. Like oil and the electricity are the substitute fuels for gas, whereas the complementary good means when the price reduction rise for a related product increases the demand for the primary product. It is just the add up of the primary product. For example, gas furnaces is the complementary for gas fuel. Next one is the buyer's income. Buyer's income is also of two types: one is the inferior goods and second one is the normal goods. Inferior goods means the one whose demand falls in response to the higher incomes, where for example the transit, when the buyer's income increases, then he wants to purchase his personal car rather than use the transit. And next one is the normal goods. Normal goods is one whose demand goes up in response to the higher incomes. Next one is taste and the network. Taste means like some people goes with the current fashion and sacrifice their current large segment of the wardrobe. And the next one is the expectation. This is important in the stock market, as a businessman wants to invest in the stock market for the future reference. Shift in demands, it is related to the normal goods, and it goes outward direction. Next one is the known prices influences on the supply. This is the technology, input cost, competing products, and the productivity. The first one is the technology. For example, just in time technology, it induced in and cost saving, so it represented the supply goes the downwards. Next one is the input cost. If the it always shift upward direction, supplied is now priced higher. Productivity, co- uh, competing products also affect the supply of the product. Now we see the effect of the both when same simultaneously supply and demand. As the increase in demand is relatively larger than the decrease in supply, so the equilibrium price rises and the equilibrium quantity also increases. Next one is the market intervention. The market is intervention is of two types. One is the government and second one is the interest group. Basically, the price controls in the market by the government. They make the rules and laws to inhibit the market prices. There are few reasons of the government to intervention in the market. One is the sport firms promote equality, collect government revenue, support poorer households, and correct market failure. Next is the price ceiling. Price ceiling is beneficial for the consumers. It is the government imposed upper limit on the cost of good or services. Price ceiling is designed to protect the consumer from unfair pricings. It is always below the equilibrium point. And the next one, for example, governments may impose rent ceilings on the landlords to ensure tenants can afford their housing. Next one is the price floors. Price floor is a government mandated minimum cost that producers in an industry are allowed to charge for their goods and services. For example, milk prices are government often aid in sustaining prices by subsidizing them. This measure helps them to the dairy farms that continue operating even when there is an oversupply of milk, which typically leads to price cuts that destabilize the industry. It is always above the equilibrium point. Next one is the quotas. Quotas is basically the physical limitation which is imposed on different products uh, to be imported from the foreign countries with a specified period of time. Basically, it is imposing the price floor to restrict the supply. If the prices goes higher than the free market equilibrium price. Next is the individual and the market function. uh, first one First one is the individual A's demand, second one is the individual B's demand. When sum of these both, we give the market demand, the horizontal sum of the individual demands. There are the different determinants of the individual demand and market demand. Individual demands contains price of commodity, price of related goods, income of consumers, and so on. And the determinants of the market demands include income distribution, climatic factor, government policy, etc. There are the different useful techniques used to calculate the demand and supply. In demand, P is equal to 10 minus Q, and in supply, P is equal to 1 plus half of Q, where P is the price of the commodity and Q is the quantity. Thank you.